Um, so we so this retreat this weekend is for the like elite coaches, 5 star and above. And they do this leadership retreat every year. It's in Scottsdale, Arizona, typically. Obviously, this year is different. But it's one of the most like intimate coach experiences that Beachbody puts on. Obviously, Summit is for everyone, and it's like a big celebration. And we always have the best speakers. And then this retreat is really focused on leadership development, on like developing your teams and like helping your coaches. And I missed the first leadership session on Thursday. They always do like an elite opening night. So like coming in as a guest, the Wednesday night is just for like the elite coaches and the 5 stars and above. So they had that Wednesday night. And then Thursday, they had a morning workout with Megan Davies, and then they had their leadership session, and and they did a lot of announcements. So as you saw, like the new Shaun T program that's rolling out next year, they talked a lot about that. They had Adalis on talking a lot about 30-day breakaway since that just came out. They had Autumn on talking about 9-week control freak, and they announced the dates. So I was really surprised. Actually, Megan and Deidre and I were talking about this last night, how it's in December this year. Typically, they do like a coach launch in December and then a customer launch in January. So this year, they've backed it up a little bit. So coach launch for 9-week control freak is going to be December 7th, I believe. And then customer launch is going to be December 21st. So what's a little different about that is, we typically like plan for like a January accountability group. Like January, everybody wants to start something the first of the year. So coming around the bend is going to be that program that will have the opportunity to like launch it as a like treat yourself for Christmas, buy yourself the gift of health and fitness for Christmas. Our current customers, our current coaches, getting them plugged in and then kicking off that launch group in January. So I think we can really leverage that as a like December hit Success Club in December and January based on that program. And Sarah,
What was the customer date?
I think it's December 21st. And I think I did share it over. It might be in the description. I shared it over into the team page. But it seems very like early, because usually they do like a January 7th customer release or something. So I think that'll be good. And we know that shipping delays happen. So I'm assuming that since there's going to be this control track or whatever that's going to come with it, that Autumn's using these like resistance band things, it's going to be a different something to have, a different kind of equipment to have. So as we get closer to the date, we'll dive into that a little bit more, but I'm still going to use that program as a January jumpstart challenge group kind of thing. So getting, same launch format. I know several of us will probably go in on the MBA or the Mompreneur launch bundle, do a launch group for December. And then what happens typically in December is people check out between like the 15th and the 27th. And then usually, I continue to post. I post my workouts, I post nutrition. And remember that like Christmas is literally like 1 to 2 days that, a lot of people surround my nutrition's going to be bad. I'm going to be traveling, blah, 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 like check out. And then come back in around the 27th. So things that we share through the holidays are healthier habits, how I'm staying consistent, how I can stay plugged into my workouts while I'm traveling, how one day isn't going to make or break my nutrition and my weight gain, weight loss, all of those things. And then just helping people stay accountable. So yes, we'll be sharing sample workouts. I think, a free group at the beginning of the month is always a great start to kind of get people comfortable with workouts, checking back in with coaches and customers, because this is a big period of downswing. Like this is a big period where people check out, unplug, don't stick to their routines, blame it on the end of the year, you know, that all of these things are going to happen. And literally, like, we talk about Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, that, you know, these times cause us to gain 5 to 15 pounds over the holidays, but literally 3 days are not going to cause you to gain 5 to 15 pounds. And when we plug that mindset into people, into our challenge groups, into our customers, that like, y'all don't have to throw in the towel because of 3 days of the year. Like, you have 80 days, 76 days left in this year to make things happen. And then, you know what? You have balance. You create that, you know, I can do good and have off days and still maintain, not gain. So I like to carry that mindset through the end of the year, like a maintain, not gain kind of mindset. November gratitude, and then kind of a holiday survival thing through the holidays. So just some things unrelated to the retreat that I wanted to kind of touch on first, but to kind of keep your mindset of planning throughout the rest of the year. And I'll release like a marketing plan next week that will kind of walk all of us through some things to be doing, some things to be posting about for the rest of the year. I have not yet done my Croctober group. I typically do a Croctober free group for the month of October, and it's been a total whirlwind with moving and then this and then all of the things in between. So my plan is to next week do a Croctober thing. And then Mompreneur did send out some Thanksgiving recipes and stuff in this month's bundle. There's like a little PDF. So little things like that. So that free group is key. And then what I plan to do with a free group, and I'll probably do like a 3 to 5 day, like I'll probably post about it Monday, Tuesday, open it up Wednesday, share some recipes, keep it open through the weekend, and then share a PDF or like a Google Doc with a bunch of recipes for everyone to kind of like, here's your freebie, thanks for coming. Also, my November 30 Days of Gratitude group is starting November 1st. I'm going to drop in there a couple sample workouts for them to try, adding a lot of value, giving a lot of content, and then sharing some like, this is what we're doing for our November 30 Days of Gratitude group. For my first 5 people who enroll, I'm sending you a gratitude journal. And I do that every year. And I just find a little $6 or $7 gratitude journal on Amazon. And I send that to typically my first 5 customers who enroll. So anyway, just as a little side note, like things that I'm doing to finish this month strong and to start November strong. Real quick, you know, I was kind of talking about how this year or this time of year is when people fall off, when we check out on our goals, when we see our customers stop showing up, when we see our coaches stop showing up, when we feel like our teams are falling apart, when we feel like, you know, I don't know what to do. Like no one's doing anything. No one's, you know, what do I do? And when it feels like the world is falling apart, the absolute best thing you can do is take care of you and do the things, control the things that you can control. So I know for me, I sit down and I write out my list of 100, and I continue to do that day after day. Write down the names of people that are engaging in my stories, that are showing up on my posts, that are sending me love, that are, you know, that are dropping heart emojis on my posts, that are, that, you know, I'm building connections with. And those are the people that I'm having conversations with, because I know that I can control how many people I talk to every day. I can control the amount of activity that I am putting into my own business. I can control my own energy that I'm bringing to the table in my challenge groups, in my life, in my workouts. I can control my nutrition. These are all the things. And I can prove to the world that, look, I can stay happy and healthy through the holidays. I can stay the course. I can create healthier habits. I can still get results. These programs work. I can stay home with my kids. I can sleep in. I don't have to get up at 5 and go to the gym every day. I can do these things and I can show you that they work. So when it feels like, you know, my challengers are checking out, my team is checking out, this is happening, my paychecks are dropping. You can control the amount of people that you talk to in the conversations that you're having. One thing that we talked about yesterday on one of the leadership calls was they did a little BOD groups training. And they were talking about how, BOD groups aren't going anywhere. Like BOD groups are here to stay. Of course, they're improving things and they're updating things. And one of the ladies, Caroline, who works with corporate, was on, and she was talking about how they've made a lot of improvements to BOD groups since the launch that happened earlier this year was kind of a flop. And I think a lot of us were frustrated and upset because we lost, our groups and like things didn't transfer and like it was just chaos. And she said, we've done so much to improve BOD groups. And now we have this live feature. And she said, every coach needs to be starting a BOD group. Every coach needs to have a community, because if you have one customer under you, when your customer logs into Beachbody On Demand, they will see that there is an active group there that they can join. And that is how you provide that community, that continuity for the people that are showing up. And we, pop into our BOD group. I can tell you in my BOD group right now, I've got 70 some people in there, 50, 70, 60, I don't know. And maybe 4 people post a day. And it's easy to look at that and go, man, no one's liking my post in there. No one's commenting on when I post an engagement post, no one comments on it, but I can look and see that people are tracking their workouts and people are tracking their Shakeology. And engagement, proof of engagement, isn't the likes and the comments. It's that people are using the products and getting results. So we have to kind of take a step back and go, and same thing with our Facebook challenge groups too. Like maybe we have, I have 176 people in my one 2020 group, and there might be 15 people that post regularly in there. And that's like, well, those numbers are terrible. But you know what? There's over 100 people seeing the posts every day, and those people are working on their own journey. And every now and then someone will pop in and say, oh my gosh, like, hey, I finished 21 Day Fix and I'm down 4 inches. And that's what we want to see. Yes, it's great to have people engaging in all those things, but like we are providing a community for people to get results and for people to succeed. So yes, the engagement stuff is great, but really just encouraging those people to show up and complete a program. Start small, do Clean Week, do Sean Week, like give them that victory. And sometimes popping in their live, I know that I haven't done like any lives in my BOD groups. I need to go in their live and I need to go, okay, here we are nearing the end of the year. What is going to be your win for the rest of the year? What is going to be the one thing that you're proud of before Thanksgiving? The one thing that you're proud of doing before 2020 is over? How do you want to start 2021? What are you going to do to show up for yourself, for your nutrition, for your own personal goals? And then drop some personal development books in there, drop some podcasts in there. Give them that self-improvement journey that they can work on themselves in addition to just their health and fitness. So if you are a newer coach and you haven't started a BOD group yet, here is your permission slip to go do it today. There are BOD groups training in the back office. There is BOD groups training in the Beachbody Champions page. You can literally Google Beachbody BOD groups training, and there is a great little video that walks you through it. Kim Carver does a really, really great training. There's a lengthy one. It's like 20 to 30 minutes long, but it is worth it because you are providing that community for people who need it the most. So BOD groups, something that we talked a little bit about in the trainings yesterday that was just a like, go get them, do it, get it done, and get that community going for your people. And then that gives you an opportunity to reach out and re-engage your current customer list. So you can go in the back office and send an email out to all of your customers in your back office and say, hi, Just wanted to give you a heads up. I've got a gratitude group starting for November, or I've got a last 60 days group starting for the end of the year. We're kicking off November 1st with a prep week on October 26th. Or if you're doing 30-day breakaway, we've got the Mompreneur 30-day breakaway guide. Get with your coach, or me if I'm your coach, or get with your coach and talk to us about the resources that we have. And also in the back office, underneath the Grow Your Business, there are challenge group guides. So you don't have to create all of your own content. You can literally use the stuff that Beachbody has provided for the challenge group guide. Live videos, popping in there, showing your face, that just shows people that like, hi, I'm here and I'm still working on me. And this is like where the success happens, when you show up every day, when you're not perfect, when you work on you, and just create that group, create that opportunity for someone to succeed. So we had Jay Shetty speak yesterday, and I'm going to have to do a completely separate live video about this because he talked for an hour and I took about an hour's worth of dozens of pages of notes because he brought so much to the table. So I am going to read his book, Think Like a Monk. That's going to be my November book. I just downloaded the sample. If you have a Kindle, download the sample, or you just download the Kindle app. If you have an Amazon account, download the Kindle app and you can download the sample, and it gives you like the first chapter and a half. If you want to just kind of get a vibe for what his book is about. But he is a hugely successful entrepreneur, used to be a monk, created this podcast that gets like 24 million downloads or something in his first year, creating a podcast. And he has interviewed, all of these famous people. He used to work for Arianna Huffington, and was, did social media marketing management, stuff like that, and now helps with leadership development. So he spoke yesterday, and he is amazing. First off, he's a beautiful human. So just watching him talk for an hour was like a total treat. And he just spoke so much, just passion into how to finish your year strong, how to do things that will give you like the momentum to finish your year strong. And he talked about how the first step is you. And he said there are 4 habits that you can apply to focus on you. And he said the acronym is TIME. So number 1, T is thankful. And he said, start your day with gratitude. Start your day fueling your mind with thankfulness, rewiring your mind. If you're having grateful thoughts, you can't be worried about anything else. You can't be worried about anxiety, all those other things, if you're filling your mind with gratitude. And y'all know, like, we do morning meditations, we do morning devotionals and things like that. And he had said that 80% of us look at our phones first thing in the morning, and you wake up and your alarm's going off and you grab your phone right away and you turn off your alarm, and then you open up the news, social media, all of the things. And he said, think of your day as like a 0 count. Like, you wake up at a 0. And then the first thing that we do in the morning is we grab our phone and we start reading the news, or we see that work email that's, negative, and we start going backwards. And then it puts us in a negative count for the morning. So then we spend the rest of the day trying to catch up and get back to the positive. So he said, first thing in the morning, spend that time in gratitude and spend that time in thankfulness. Turn off your alarm and sit there and, start a meditation, or look up an inspirational quote the night before. And so the first thing that you see in the morning is that inspirational quote, and you can fill your mind with positivity and reflect on that. Think about, at the end of and he said same thing at the end of the night, like the last thing we do before we go to bed is we have our phone in our hand. He goes, a lot of times the 80% of the population, the last thing that they see before they go to bed at night is their phone, not their partner. And he said, so disconnect and unplug. And I'm super guilty of that. Like, Luke will fall asleep, I'll come to bed and I'll be on my phone until I fall asleep. And then alarm goes off in the morning, turn my alarm off, and I'm checking my messages or doing something like that. And he said, stop, do the gratitude first, do the thing that's going to fill your mind. And we all know it. I mean, it's not like this is new news, but it kind of like, oh, okay. You start to move into a negative space first thing in the morning, and then you spend the rest of the day trying to catch up and get back to that like balance. So he said, number 2, the I is for inspiration. What do you do that makes you feel inspired every day? And he said, for a year of his life, he woke up and he listened to this Steve Jobs Stanford graduation speech. And he said, he's like, I would wake up in the morning and I would push play on that talk. And I would just listen to that every morning. He's like, to the point where I had it memorized. And he goes, I would fill my mind with that inspiration. I know, it's so good. Is Sarah here yet? Yeah. Oh, and fill your mind with that inspiration every single day. And he said, you know, one of the things that really stuck with me is that Sarah's rolling up in here all dressed real fancy with like all of her fancy stuff. We're over here like sweaty and stinky. And so just that inspiration and that, you know, when you fill your mind with, hi, how are you this morning? Sorry, total squirrel. Let me go back. Okay. Inspiration. I think that was all that I was going to say about that. But again, filling your mind with that inspiration every morning, and even before bed at night. And he did dive into that about the quote a little bit more. Like he said, you know, if you're going to look at your phone before you go to bed, find something that when you open your phone in the morning, that's going to be the first thing that you see. So that way you're not tempted to dive into something that's going to uninspire you, that you're going to continue to be inspired. The M was for meditation. He said in its most basic form, just checking in with yourself. We're so quick to ask everyone else how we're doing or how they're doing. We're so quick, especially as moms, checking in with everyone else before we take our own needs first. So that M stands for meditation. And then he said, you know, if you can add in a meditation in the morning, I am loving those 4-minute meditations that Elise does, by the way. If you haven't dove into the meditation app on God yet, do that. And she has all, and they're alphabetized. So you can literally pick a different letter every day. And she does a quick 4-minute meditation, and that just helps with getting your mind in the right spot. So this last week, I have done a 4-minute meditation every morning. It has certainly helped like get me grounded and like feel a little bit more sane. So taking that time for meditation. And then he said E stands for exercise. And he's like, y'all know I don't have to tell you that, but get up and move your body in the morning. That is key for brain function. That is key for keeping you energized throughout the rest of the day. And these are all great things that you can take into your bod groups and your challenge groups and go in and do a live video, because where we know these things as coaches, because we've been doing personal development and we've been working on ourselves and we've been working on our own self-improvement journey. I mean, it's for us, it's like, yeah, well, I do this anyway. But that reminder that like, you know what, not everybody does. And a lot of people start their day in a negative headspace or skip their workout or say they're going to do it later. And then what happens? They don't. And then here we are like having challengers fall off because they haven't created that successful morning routine. He said, the one thing that has given me the most success in my life has been creating that solid morning routine. And he said, ask any entrepreneur, billionaire, business developer, they have created a successful morning routine. So teaching that, integrating that through our challenge groups is absolutely key. I'm not going to go into the rest of the stuff that he talked about because, like I said, I literally have like 10 more pages of notes from him that I could share. So I'm going to do a live video tomorrow, kind of covering some extra stuff, and I'll be coming back into the team page throughout this week, sharing some more things from leadership. We have another general session today that I'll share some more from that too. We did have a couple other speakers that spoke yesterday, and the theme for a lot of what they talked about was like, what do you do when your people fall off? What do you do when energy is down? What do you do when momentum is down? And I don't know if that's, I mean, well, I know because we've all been kind of talking about it, but a lot of people throughout leadership have been talking about how momentum is down big time right now. Like people aren't showing up for their business. They're not showing up for themselves. And it does come back to that most basic, like, take care of yourself first and create that energy and create that momentum with yourself and what you're doing, because it's hard to get people to motivate and join you when you're not feeling it yourself. So key priority, put your oxygen mask on first. And then, you know, as you're talking through your stories, as you're talking through your posts, you're talking about what this is doing for you and how this is helping through a year that has been just an absolute shitstorm, how I have survived this year. Talking about things that have brought you success. And then just sharing that journey. Let me see, hold on, I got another, I'm gonna have to jump off here in a couple minutes. So one girl, Artina, she's a 9-star, 4-time elite coach, spoke yesterday. And she talked a lot about like building momentum within your team. And she said, you know, checking in every day is key. Checking in with your people, creating those message threads, creating that personalized community. She just refers people to the team trainings. She doesn't create all these brand new training groups. She said all of my new coach training happens within a message thread and referring them to the team trainings. And she said, honestly, she's like, I just want people to show up and do the trainings. And she's like, I want people that are going to work with me and I'll work with the willing. And it was a little bit refreshing to hear a 9-star, 4-time elite coach say that she doesn't baby her new coaches. And she said, this is a business where it's all here and it's all for you to, it's all at your fingertips. And she said, you know, I give them the community, I give them the resources, but I can't do it for them. Like I can give you the workout programs and I can give you the Shakeology, but I can't come to your house and move your arms and legs for you and use your blender for you. Like at some point, somebody has to take their own responsibility. So she says, you know, I give them all the tools, but then I give them the community and I plug them in and I make sure that they feel supported. And I'm here in a message thread to help answer their questions. But I'm also giving them that guidance, like, okay, work through this training. Let me know what questions you have in the message thread so we can all learn together. So I really do like that idea of, instead of creating 100 different Facebook groups for trainings and trying to plug people into everything, because we have a new coach come in and they're joining our challenge group too. And their first priority is to choose a program and start getting results and then start sharing their journey. And I mean, that's what we do. We show up, we start a program, we do a program, we create healthier habits, and we start sharing that journey. She said, do not water dead plants. If people aren't willing to show up, she said, you can pour all the water on them that they want, but you're still not going to revive them from the dead. They have to actually like grow themselves. So she said, as long as you're providing those resources and that accountability, that helps. She said, this business is absolutely a gold mine, but only if you're mining for gold. Like you can't expect it to just show up for you. You actually have to do some of the work yourself. And she said, the one thing that I know that I can do every day to move my business forward is that I stay in phase 1, that I show up, that I invite, that I have the conversations, that I do me, that I work through my own personal accountability. And then I carry that through for my other people. And they need to know that, you know what, your priority is yourself. And you can't grow your business if you're not growing yourself. So anyway, stay in phase 1. I think that's important, especially at this time of year. If we are wanting to create momentum to carry us through this year, we have to show up every day, even on days that it's hard. Same thing with our workouts. Like, even on days that it's hard. If I want to get results, I have to show up. And if that just means having 3 conversations a day, if that means connecting with 3 people a day through our Instagram stories, through our Facebook, if that means sending a positive quote to somebody who you've been talking to and just say, hey, I just wanted to check in with you. I've been thinking about you. I hope you're doing great. That means, you know, popping in to your challenge groups and saying, hey, you know what, guys, I know this season is hard, but I just wanted to tell you, you're not alone. We're struggling together. So let's just keep accountable and do this together. If that means, you know, you're sending out a message to your team and you're saying, you know, self-check, how's it going? What can I help you with? But you're still providing that accountability, but you're doing it for yourself first. I think that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions like to carry into leadership today? They do like a Q&A panel. We're gonna have like some speakers and stuff today. I can always post questions in the chat in the leadership stuff as well today. And then also like this new program launch, this autumn program launch. I know Autumn's been doing a year of autumn. Like she's been doing her own thing where like she's encouraging people to work through her programs for like a year. So I actually have a couple challengers who have been just committed to doing autumn programs like for the remainder of this year. And I'm currently doing Fix Extreme Real Time. And I was thinking about diving back into Hammer and Chisel after this. And just, and Luke is actually doing Hammer and Chisel and he's surprisingly loving it. But creating that momentum. Also, we know 30-day breakaway is going on. But as we move past that into the end of the year, it's a like new program launch. First off, let me backtrack. 80-day Obsession was ridiculous. Like if you were part of that launch, you know that 80-day Obsession was ridiculous. Like something about like when Autumn's like, ooh, I have a new program. Like the OG 21-day fixers, like that this crew that like I started with 21-day fix. Like there's something about like that new autumn program launch that just like does something for like the fitness world that like, yay, let's do an 80-day Obsession had a lot of hype. And that program launch was amazing. So I feel like this one is probably going to be very similar. We always have great success around program launches if you create that hype and that momentum. Create that within your teams, create that within your challenge groups, get people excited, and you know, carry that momentum through the rest of the year. But we can't expect 2021 to be great if we don't show up now and set the stage for success. So, you know, we're talking about finishing the year strong. All the things that I talked about earlier in the call, talking about finishing the year strong, talking about showing up now, talking about the things that you're doing right now to stay healthy, sharing those healthier recipes, providing that value, providing, you know, through your content, through the things that you're showing up doing daily, those simple steps that like, this is why I didn't gain 5 pounds while I was traveling this weekend, because I did have a couple drinks, but I also balanced it with healthier foods. I did have a shit ton of nachos last night, but I'm also committing to eating healthy the rest of the time. But sharing those things that are showing people like this is what living a healthier lifestyle looks like. It's not a diet, fall off the wagon, diet. It's a 80-20 every day, and I can still get results and move my body. So anyway, I'll pop in live probably tomorrow night and then throughout the rest of this week and share a little bit more with the rest of leadership. I'm going to get this call uploaded. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, and anybody that's listening to the recording have any questions about anything or anything you want me to take to leadership, like to the, because they do a Q&A live chat today too. If there's anything that you have that you'd like me to send in there, send it to me. And I will, and I'll bring it up to you. Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, that's all I got.